There are thousands of trading gurus out there. Some are selling courses eager to part you from your money, but couldn't actually trade to save their life. There's so much information out there, and it is not clear who you could trust as a complete beginner. But if you stick to the basic advice I'm about to give you, it's hard to go wrong. So number one, let's start by getting a trading journal. It doesn't matter if you're gonna write it on paper or keep this online. This is gonna be really important that you start tracking your actual trades the moments that you're entering. You want to write notes as to what you're thinking and what you're seeing, why you want to be a buyer, why you want to be a seller. And ultimately, what this is going to actually decipher over a small period of history is to show where you are seeing the markets correctly and where you are not. And what we want to do is delve back into those trade opportunities. What allowed us to be successful in those moments? Why did we fail? Why were we on the wrong side of the market at that time? These are things that you're going to want to ask yourself, and even if you're not sure why, the more that you look at this, the more you're going to recognize that there's going to be a specific pattern that shows up that leads to why you've been successful and why you've been failing in certain trade setups. Also, keeping these trading journals will actually be an incentive for you to be a little bit more intuitive into the moments that you take on these trades, kind of giving yourself a checklist as to why this should be successful for you and why not. When you see this commonality of success and failure, we tend to lean more towards success and veer away from the failures. This is going to be really important. I still to this day will always go back and look on my trades to see what went wrong and what went right and why. Number two, start by using a paper trading account. The one thing that I always hear from a lot of people is that I gotta get my blood in the game. I gotta feel the pain. That's not true at all. There's a reason why we want to sit here and practice on paper. And yes, the fills generally won't be exactly perfect, but ultimately that's not really what we're looking for. We don't need precision. We need the right timing, and that's going to be important. And why sit here and spend thousands of dollars trying to figure out what we're doing in the market environment when we don't have to? That's additional capital that you could keep in your account and use as leverage going forward when you could start proving to yourself that you could trade actively live. This is where I recommend everybody to get started, because the worst thing that could happen is that you get yourself into a situation that you may not be familiar with, may have never ever done research on, and then it gets to that point of no return, and that loss just becomes a forever loss. So it's best to practice. Start small, start slow, build up that confidence, and then go live. Number three, learn the basics and the importance of technical analysis. This is extremely important. We're not talking about the 70s and the 80s where you had to call your broker to place a trade. Everybody trades behind the screen now. This is a technically driven market. We hear about these HFTs, these high frequency hedge funds that are coming in and out of the markets. Even the basics of technical analysis is going to help create a foundation for you to build off of. The importance of knowing the technical analysis as well will actually give you a plan on when to enter, when to exit. So it'll help you instill a lot of discipline, a lot of patience, knowing when to attack, knowing when we're in a situation where we're just wrong so you can cut bait early. This is going to be a core foundation in your trading going forward, especially with the way that retail has been trading these days. It is extremely important to understand technical analysis. Number four, start small. We have this misconception that the second that you press that button, you're going to get immediately rich. Listen, that's not how it works. People that have turned a small amount into a large amount, that's like 1 in a million. It's the same thing as going to the gas station and buying a lottery ticket. We have to actually think about starting and building and compounding, and then we could get larger. Once we go through the phase of learning on paper, the emotional state is going to be different. So there is going to be adjustment periods in how your trades actually fill as opposed to paper and live as well. But once you actually start getting into going live, starting small and then building up, you're going to scale up here depending on what your account size is and your price performance. So start small, small wins, small losses. The idea of trading is to capitalize and actually stay in the game as long as possible. The longer you're in the game, the more likely you're going to see that success. And what trading is about timing, and we just never know when that actual home run trade may actually hit. And that could only be possible if you are are active in the markets. And that won't be possible if you're over levered in a position and you have no cash available. I never ever recommend full porting into a trade, meaning taking all of your cash and diving it in. You're only gonna do that if you're willing to risk it all. Win big, lose big. And if you're not in that moment and you're not in that mentality, grind it out for now. Let's prove to yourself that you could actually do this. And then we start levering up. That's when you start scaling on your positions. So that's how you could get started trading stocks as a complete beginner. One of the many ways that you can take your trading to the next level is through options trading, which has the potential to be wildly profitable with the right strategy. In fact, I made a full 2-hour course on how to start trading stock options as a complete beginner. Click on this video over here to watch it. Please remember to like, comment if you have any questions or suggestions for new videos, and I'll see you in the next one.